a lot of this ESG and DEI distraction was not merely hurting the owners of the business, which is always my primary concern as a fiduciary when it comes to my world of investment management, but that it was driven by a Phariseeism where they thought the mere virtue signaling would adequately atone with left-wing critics that did not care for their profit-making enterprise. And I believe that's what it was always primarily about. Do some political activism in a way that is politically correct, ESG, DEI, culturally left-wing endeavors, and thereby get a lot of the activist left that has power in Congress, has power in academia, has power in the media to leave you alone. This was an unholy trinity of power, and it all started with companies having a permission structure to operate outside their primary duty to be a business. What Dr. Gregg and I wrote about in our op-ed yesterday is that corporate America has an extraordinary amount of talent, an extraordinary amount of capital, extraordinary amount of innovation and capacity for greater innovation. And all they do is diminish all of the above, diminish the potential of their capital, their human capital, their ingenuity, and this capacity for productivity. Put differently, capacity for great things. It gets diminished when they are distracted by silly political endeavors. And so this good for business coalition and our statement of the purpose of a corporation is meant to undo the damage that's been done by so-called stakeholder capitalism. The pillars that we are talking about, the vision we have that is core to what I believe here at Capital Record and am continually engaged in my various endeavors, both financially, professionally, and intellectually, are that a business ought to be focused on creating economic value, maintaining clear accountability to the owners of the business. There's a very fundamental legal and moral principle at play there. Avoiding entanglement in political controversies and advancing the general welfare through business success, not political advocacy. Creating value, check. Accountability to owners of a business, check. Avoiding entanglement in political controversies, check. Advancing the general welfare through business success, check. These four pillars would have been absolutely, utterly non-controversial for the vast majority of the last 100 years. And in more recent times, we were distracted into a moment of insanity. We're seeking to undo the insanity, and the tide is going in our direction. And we're very excited by which way the wind is blowing here. But we want to make the broader philosophical point underneath our activism, our endeavors, our communications, that this is a byproduct of the great moral good, the common good that is served when companies act like businesses. Society is best served when businesses are doing what they do best. They don't have the legitimacy, they don't have the infrastructure to ever be political actors in any kind of meaningful or effective way. And that's for good reason. The businesses exist and have been capitalized, and their formation over the years is a byproduct of them being good at something. And that something is always production of goods and services that meet human needs and wants. When businesses get distracted from that, it's not just that they are now doing what they do best suboptimally, but they then are suboptimally doing what they were never intended to do best.